gentlemen, guys, we got hit with that 2.4 CPI. They're expecting 2.6. I called that shit, bro. Called it. I knew it was probably going to come in lower than expected because, like I said, when the stock markets and everything starts tumbling, it kind of scares people on spending money. You know, it's like a psychological thing. Investors are just like trying to stay in cash. They're worried. There's uncertainty in the markets. So they just don't spend money, you know? And that causes inflation to come down. I'm not saying that's the case every time, but usually that's how that cookie crumbles. Now, the CPI. So tomorrow we have PPI. That's also going to be moving markets. Now, when the markets open, guys, that's when the volatility kicks in. Usually when that data drops, that first move is kind of like a fake out sometimes. It'll pump or dump, and it'll trap the shorts or longs, and they'll get squeezed one way or the other, you know? So that's also something to keep in mind when the market's open. There's a lot of volatility, and especially with this data coming out, and all eyes are on this data right now. This is much more important than TA. This kind of data is not on a chart. I'm not saying that TA is not important, but this data, understanding like the underlying narrative and the macro, is just as, if not more important than TA. So you don't have to be a TA expert to make a lot of money in this market. You know, time in this market is more important than timing the market. Once you have enough time, you have a couple years under your belt, you went through a couple cycles, you know, you understand the process, how things work. You start understanding these rate cuts and how these liquidity injections will make us see massive gains. So that's another thing I want to talk about, liquidity injections. Low CPI, low PPI, that's going to cause the Fed, you know, they're getting closer to that 2% target, which I don't think they're ever going to reach. Biden just fucked this economy so bad, printed so much money that, you know, we had a high interest rate environment for like 3 years, and it still wasn't enough, you know? Printed 50% of the circulating supply in 2 years. That is exactly why the price of goods and rent, everything went up, you know? When the market dumps, because it was artificially propped up on a money printer so he could try and get reelected, and Trump came in and hit that reset button, because that's the shit we were doing was unsustainable. Really was. Most of these liberals and stuff, I'm not trying to like be too political with it, but they don't understand the market like that, because some of them don't even have portfolios. They just look and go what people say because they think it's cool. Orange man bad. Orange man bad. Why is he bad? Oh, I don't know. They said he was bad. Is he really that bad? Put some money in the market and fuck around, you know? Democrats are usually not good for markets. Just from my experience, that's how it's been. I've been in this market for a while now, and when I first had exposure to it was with Trump, and I made massive gains. Biden got in office and didn't make that much, you know? So, with that being said, oh yeah, on top of that, the Democrats and their anti-crypto campaign that they went on for 4 years, that's done. So you have to think about, not only are we about to get liquidity injections, the whole narrative behind crypto is bullish. Everyone's for it now. People used to think it was a shitty, sketchy, money laundering, you know, tax evasion bullshit. Now they're all like, oh no, everyone's, you know, they're all FOMOing in at the same time. And we have all these Bitcoin reserves, not only in the U.S., like federally, but now all these states. It's crazy, man. So back to the trade war. China. All right, China right now, they're printing massively. That's why their currency's being devalued. They're trying to make things cheaper to attract investors and basically offset the tariffs.
In 2 miles, take exit 11 onto Six Forks Road.
All these people keep seeing that, and they're like, they think that's good. They're like, oh yeah, Trump's working. It's working. it is working. They're cornering them. That's their response, all right? Not necessarily a good thing that their currency's devalued, because that means that's their response. That means investors and people are going to want to trade with them now that things are cheaper. So just something to keep in mind. But they're going to want to make a deal, you know, because now they've isolated them. That's their only response, is to print money. And the U.S. can do that too. We're about to start printing money on the same scale as China, and after that, I don't know what they're going to retaliate with, because now it's just going to be a battle of money printers, and the U.S. is going to win that every day. We print money like it's our fucking job. So I think this is going to be a massive bull run, massive, and I'm still accumulating. I'm going to still accumulate until we get somewhat back to decent levels. My portfolio is still down massively. So as I get paid, I'm still going to be averaging into this market, some of these altcoins that are still undervalued. Once we start pumping like crazy, I'm done. I'm going to start living my life normally. Start using money for things I need instead of the market. So I've been doing this shit for years now. I'm like, damn, dude, when is it going to stop? You know, I think we're getting there. But guys, I just want to do an update. I'm about to go have a long day today. Another day in the trenches of the Matrix. Telling myself it's all for a good cause. And it is. Because all this stuff pays off, man. The more you suffer in the short term, trying to get shit done, trying to accomplish things, you can relax. You can enjoy the fruit of your labor. You know, once you're in massive gains, you don't need to be at work 7 days a week, 12 to 16 hours a day. It's just how it works. Not saying I'm going to quit work, but I'm definitely going to pump the brakes. But gentlemen, if you get any value, like and subscribe. And guys, keep pushing, man. Keep pushing.